Construction for a free home inspection.
This is Ryan, owner of Snap Construction. There are a lot of great construction companies in town. My advice is to take your time and do your research. Make sure they are locally owned and that they guarantee their craftsmanship for life. Also, you want to find a company that's been in business for at least 10 years. You want to work with a company that's going to be there long after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims and will help you through the process.
Don't go with the out-of-town fly-by-night contractor. Most storm damage goes missed by the untrained eye. Trust Snap Construction for your free storm damage evaluation. For your free storm damage evaluation, call Snap Construction at 612-333-SNAP or visit them online at snapconstruction.com. That's 612-333-SNAP or snapconstruction.com.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Hey, it's Tom. Since 2009, All Energy Solar has been providing solar energy solutions to customers. With fully licensed electricians and installers, you can be sure that your solar installation will go smoothly. The team at All Energy Solar understands that every customer is unique. They'll take the time to survey and understand your property to find a solar solution that works for you. One of the biggest advantages of going solar is the opportunity to take advantage of the many solar incentives available. But it can often be confusing to know what you're qualified for. All Energy Solar professionals will help you find out what savings you can apply for and even help with your applications. This is especially important since many rebate programs have limited capacity and are first come, first serve. So it's important to have a professional on your side who will make sure you get every eligible rebate. Get a free no obligation assessment from All Energy Solar's commercial solar specialists by calling 800-620-3370 or visit allenergysolar.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for sunny skies today with a high near 82. Tonight, showers and storms with a low around 63. And Wednesday, partly sunny with a high around 67. Get a taste of authentic Szechuan and Mandarin cuisine at the Great Wall Restaurant. From hot and sour soup to Peking duck, they've got all of your favorites covered. Conveniently located just south of 50th and France in Edina. Order for takeout or view the full menu at GreatWallEdina.com. That's GreatWallEdina.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be Indigenous. Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hit me cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. We discuss local and national Native news and events, and as you know, Haley, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
They are, Robert, and this portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Clinic on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis, honoring health and tradition. And we want to start out today's show by giving a big happy birthday shout out to Dr. Anthony Stately. Dr. Stately is our weekly Monday guest, and he is also the president and first officer of Native American Community Clinic here in Minneapolis. So big Hocheni Home, que best to you, Dr. Stately.
Yeah, that was some applause for him.
Yeah, he's got the Mean Girls October 3rd birthday.
Hey, a lot going on. Heather Keeler is our scheduled guest, and she's having trouble getting in here. I think she's up in the deep north here, and I think she just tried to call me on a different phone, but I will give her a call in a second. But what I'd like to do while I'm doing this is talk a little bit about, well, let me talk about this real quick. The Twins are playing right now, my home team, and they're winning. And McCarthy was ousted as the House Speaker in a dramatic vote as Democrats join GOP critics. This is the first time ever. And as I'm getting ready to try and get a hold of State Representative Heather Keeler on the phone, Haley, we had fun last night. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that one. I can't do two things at once, so I got to spit out my gum and and try and call the state representative.
Oh my goodness, we had so much fun last night. We went out to Metro State University for the Bobby Wilson was doing an art talk with Wakan Tipi, and really amazing. They gifted him with a blanket for all of his work. We got to see the mural that's going to be going up, which he designed and painted or is going to paint. So we got to see a sneak peek of that, which was really cool. And we got to kind of give some tips or give our comments on what we thought of the mural. And everyone got to meet Bobby. And I just got to say, Bobby Wilson, you are the most humble, coolest Native artist that I have ever met, and really proud to come from St. Paul like you. So thank you for being a really great example to the rest of us here.
Yeah, it was great to see Bobby Wilson, the Reservation Dogs writer, actor, former student of mine. Got to take a few pictures with him and say who he'll be on next week. And I think I might have State Representative Heather Keeler on the phone here. Let me double check here. State Senator, are you there?
No, stop calling me a senator.
Dang it.
Representative.
What the heck? What is wrong with me? What I had Mary Kunesh, State Senator Mary Kunesh on just last Friday, and I was calling her state representative. So I don't know I think I got some timers. It's coming on, put me in a good home, come visit often. Hey, State Representative, how you doing? And glad you could make it with us today.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm actually up in northern Minnesota, and it's absolutely beautiful up here, but my connection was a little off, so glad we are able to connect.
Right on. Hey, what's going on? I know you got a lot happening, a residue of this great last session. Also, your own business is going on. What would you like to talk about today?
I mean, the biggest thing today is that, next Monday is Indigenous Peoples Day. And in the state of Minnesota, it's the first year that we'll be celebrating and honoring that as a state recognized holiday. With that, we did eliminate Columbus Day. And then, I've shared on this platform with you and others, my kind of personal story with Indigenous Peoples Day started when I was an Indian education liaison, and worked with a lot of students who really wanted to see themselves reflected in the school district. And so we thought it would be a good idea to do an hour conversation of the beauty of the Indigenous culture with everybody in our school. And at the time, when we asked administration, we were told no. And when Rep. Keeler is told no, there's always like that digging in, like, why is it a no? What would have to change for it to be a yes? And the superintendent said, not unless it's a city or state recognized holiday would we do something like that in the schools. And so part of what we did in the state is not only made it a state recognized holiday, but then also added an element in our education systems that if a school is going to be in person on that day as a state holiday, then they would be required to have at least 1 hour of a conversation regarding our Indigenous culture, language, history in their school district for all students. And so it is really exciting. And I think it also kind of reflects on how everyday people can see something in their community. They can stand up for the people and the youth that they work with and kind of find a path to actually make that change that our next generation was asking for.
Yeah, that's totally exciting. I know on the 9th, I will be, well, let's back up for a second. The weekend, Native Roots Radio is sponsoring a big basketball tournament here in the cities, Indigenous basketball game. And then, of course, on the 9th, on Monday morning, we have our ceremony around Lake Bidet Makaska, and then also we have the school parade that we always have. And I'm excited. I'm not teaching anymore, but I will definitely be at the parade. There's students from all over the cities come into St. Paul, and we do a march and have a great time together. And so, what are the plans up where you're living there, State Representative?
Yeah. So, as I've talked about before, like being a legislator is a part-time job. And so, I do have a full-time gig. I actually have a couple full-time gigs, but, one of the things I do is I have done education implementation projects with universities, organizations, and healthcare systems, particularly around our Indigenous community. And so, when I was a student at MSUM Moorhead, I was the president of our student association and worked with administration to develop what we called the NSSN program, which was Native Student Support Network, which we really did in-depth training now for 5 years, kind of put a pause in the pandemic, to really talk to administrators and faculty in that school on how, do you really create an environment being welcoming to Indigenous students, and what does that look like? And so we're kind of going back for a recreation or a 2.0 version of that with that faculty on Indigenous Peoples Day. And so that's exciting. And then we always have a local event in the evening that's just a local powwow with our, we're Fargo and Moorhead. So both the Indian education programs come together, and we have a nice meal and celebrate in the most beautiful way in the evening. So always my favorite thing. I get invited to other places, and I just always love to be at home for that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And it's interesting. We'll talk about in the next segment, if you can hold on for a break. We're going to take a break real quick. I spoke, and Haley came with me. I spoke at the University of Minnesota in a media class, and it was really barraged by a lot of people that don't know anything about Native Americans, and that's our future and our college students. So that was pretty hard to see. They really want to learn. But let's talk a little bit more about that, and also your great work up there. We'll be right back. This is Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and we're here with State Representative Heather Keeler. Oh, wow. I heard sex trafficking happens a lot in Indian country. What is that?
Here are some of the real reasons why sex trafficking happens in Indian country. Unequal gender roles that were forced on us by colonization. Communities don't have enough resources. Silence around domestic and sexual violence. Lack of attention and justice for missing and murdered Indigenous people. There's a lot of behavior that keeps our communities out of balance. These are just a few true reasons why Native communities are targeted by traffickers. When these acts of violence happen in our communities, it opens us all up for exploitation.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Be a vaccinative. As the fall season continues, new COVID-19 variants threaten the health of not just you, but our elders as well. These new variants might even evade previous vaccines. That's why it's important to stay up to date. The newly authorized vaccines target current variants effectively and are FDA approved for ages 6 months and older. But there is an important note. These are the first COVID vaccines to be commercialized, which means there may be costs associated with them. Speak with your health insurer about your coverage before scheduling an appointment to avoid a surprise bill. For those without health insurance, help is available. Ask your health clinic about options or visit vaccines.gov for free locations. Getting vaccinated protects you from severe disease. Don't put yourself or elders at risk. So be a vaccinative and protect our community. This message is brought to you in partnership with the Minnesota Department of Health.
J&S Bean Factory is a Native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, we're here with a state representative of the great state of Minnesota, Heather Keeler, and it's just been really my pleasure to really watch Heather in action. I remember Heather when she first, it was kind of the final moment. I was having a symposium on Sundays, and a lot of politicians were in on it, and they were really surprised and happy. And I'll never forget that day that you made a left turn and ran for state representative instead. Do you mind telling our audience that story again? That was amazing.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to tell me if I cut in and out, because again, I'm up north and service is kind of tricky up here. But yeah, it was really interesting because I was in grad school, and I was going to school for educational leadership with the intention to, do something bigger in Indian education. And as I did my practicum, I asked the question to my community, what were the barriers to academic success outside of academic rigor? So not asking them, was math hard or science hard, but what were those other barriers to graduation? And, the number one things that always rose to the top were three things. The lack of representation, or what we like to say, representation matters. The lack of a consistent home and unsure of where their next meal was going to come. So what that said to me was, okay, we need to look at this entire structure of school, right? Kids are not failing because they're bad at math. They're not succeeding because they don't see themselves in these classrooms. They're not totally sure where they're going to stay, and they're hungry. And so I was going to run for school board, which was something I had never considered. Like running for anything in all of ever, was never something I wanted to do. But I did believe that enough people in my community trusted me with their stories, that I wanted to go out and be a voice for that. And so I remember walking into the room in February of 2020, and I walked in and I looked at the other candidates, and they were white straight men. And not that that was bad. I just knew I had listened to my community long enough that they at least deserved an option. I'm Indigenous, I'm queer, I'm a woman, I'm a single mom, I have 2 kids in the school district. I really was an advocate for, food insecurities and homelessness. And so I just kind of switched literally within a minute and went into the first room. And I remember saying out loud, I want to go and be your state representative. And in my mind, kind of even thinking I'm trusting the creator here because I don't really know what this entails. And just ended up winning and doing some really outstanding things, and hope that can be an example back to people. Politicians aren't these big, fancy, super outstanding people all the time. We're everyday people that are working alongside you. We're working in our classrooms. We're social workers. We're nurses. We're teachers. We're doctors. So we just need everyday Minnesotans to step up and lead right now.
Absolutely. And I've had a friend, and maybe this friend was me, but this person was elected in office and wondered, how in the heck did I get elected? And then I met the other people that were elected and went, how in the heck did they get elected? It's like normal people should run, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think the best part about what we've been able to do in Minnesota is we have, individuals at the table who know what, the school districts feel like, and they know, what poverty feels like, and that are working class, the struggles that they have just to go buy milk and eggs right now. We have people at the table who really know what that feels like. And I think when we make decisions, then we really have, most of the Minnesotans in mind, because we're all middle class working people just trying to do the best we can.
Exactly. And, Heather, again, we're here with State Representative Heather Keeler and the great state of Minnesota. Heather, how are you feeling now? I know this is for anybody, but especially a single mother, Indigenous, places where we don't belong. How's your mental health happening now? Or has this short break helped at all? Are we priming up for another session? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I love that you asked me that question, because it means that I've talked about my mental health enough to know that it's just something that we talk about. And it's like a stigma, right? Like when people start saying like my mental health is off, or I need to step back for a minute, or I need to take care of myself. There's kind of that like, oh, well, why would you do that? We out here in the world need you to keep doing things. And so I did, I stepped away from a couple of my assignments in my legislative role, knowing that for me to do the best work, I have to be healthy myself. I've been spending a lot of time with my kids. DJ is a senior, and so he's in the recruiting process now, and he's having an outstanding football season. So I'm just totally loving being like a senior mom and being a football mom and just enjoying my kids. And that does really feel good for my soul. But then also, I get to talk to constituents. I get to talk to my kids and their friends and, other people in the stands. And I actually really hear more about the needs and the excitement of Minnesotans just being a mom in the world. So I kind of feel like this is this is the best part of my job.
Yeah, it is. And I just want to ask a personal question. How in the world did your son get so good looking and tall within like the last 2 years?
I know. I don't know. I mean, he is really tall. He's 6'3", 200 pounds, and he jumps like, I love taking pictures. Photography is kind of another little side gig I have. And so I take pictures of him and his teammates. And I mean, he even jumps really high. Like, I don't know. I'm just so lucky to have somebody that I'm raising, and I'm like his biggest fan. So yeah. I don't know. Yeah. And he's good looking because he's my child, of course.
Yeah. Of course. Yes. Hey, we're here with State Representative Heather Keeler. Heather, what else is going on? I always have a big smile when we can get you on the show because your energy and your truthfulness really accentuates what we're trying to do here at Native Roots Radio. So I really always appreciate when you can spend some time with us and our listeners.
Yeah, I think I love coming here, and I love sharing, good messages with our relatives across the region. And this is a wonderful platform. But as always, I just want people to make sure that they're taking care of themselves, taking care of their relatives, taking care of Mother Earth around us, because that's really, how we brace together the strength to build healthy generations moving forward.
Can we talk about, we only got a couple more minutes here. Can we talk about your business, with your family business? And I love the last time we talked about it, we have 3 generations working together. Can you tell our audience a little bit about your business and how they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, so I have Two Feathers Consulting, which actually is a little bit of me, a little bit of my mom, and then my kids come into play with that. But the main part is keynote speaking, motivational speaking. You were talking about kind of the lack of understanding around Indigenous history. And so for many years, long before I was even ever elected, I really feel it's important that we need to educate people if we expect them to do better, in our systems. And so rather than complaining about it, I created what I call Indigenous 101, all the things you didn't learn.
Oh, we just lost state representative, but
Lost our signal.
yeah, that happens when you're up in the deep north there, Haley. And her business out there is Two Feathers, and you can reach her out from there and get her to come speak, because we know when we went to the University of Minnesota, we have a lot of allies out there that want to learn and weren't taught when they were young and things like that. So oh, hey, Angela Vig of Vig Guitars, the Suspense. That's right. Hey, good to see you last night. Thanks for the picture and the selfie, and it was really good to see you and at the Bobby Wilson art thing for Wonka TP. It was really fun. We got only a couple minutes here, and I'll probably let Heather go because it sounded like her phone might have died. So when you get a double beep like that, but what do you think as a younger person, Haley, about like the power that I feel like whenever I talk to Heather or see Heather, and you've seen her speak too, how does that make you feel to see somebody like that in our as a state representative?
Heather's amazing. I mean, from the day I met her, I think I met her was at the MMIW event that was at the White House back in, I don't know, I think I want to say May, maybe. But I mean, she is just, you do not want to mess with Representative Heather Keeler. And for a good reason. Like, she gets things done, and she's just a powerhouse, really. So, and such a good person in the community, and such a strong, mentally and emotionally a strong woman, a strong Native woman to look up to in the community as well. So I thank her for that.
Yeah, and it's always great to have Heather on. I'm trying to give her a call, if you can tell, on my bat phone, but I think it might be the end here. So that was state representative. And why do I say state senator all the time? And I guess when I talk to our lieutenant governor, I always call her senator, because I think that'll be her next job here as a senator of Minnesota. And maybe when Tina retires or anything like that, she could take it over. But that's all wishful thinking for me. And, I don't have a crystal ball, but what a great opportunity to talk to State Representative Heather Keeler. And what fun we had last night, Haley. And tell us a little bit about what's coming up here. You got 30 seconds. Who do we got up next?
Well, we have Derek Tofpi of Oklahoma, runners basketball coach, and Brook LaFloe, CEO of Niniijaanis, one of ones, coming up to talk about the Indigenous Peoples Basketball Weekend.
Right on. Hey, you're listening to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and we'll be right back after this short break.
Stay with us.
Ho! Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States.
And 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected.
Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesota to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf.
Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy.
As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired.
Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
It's time to experience the amazing flavors of eatlocalminnesota.com. It's your key to unlocking the best local and independently owned restaurants in the Twin Cities. See how eatlocalminnesota.com can point you to that perfect one-of-a-kind spot. If you're craving barbecue, then don't drive too fast or you will miss Scott Jamama's Hot Barbecue, located at 3 West Diamond Lake Road in Minneapolis. Scott Jamama's offers mouth-watering baby back ribs, grilled chicken, and half-pound pulled pork sandwiches. The potato salad, spicy baked beans, and twice-baked potatoes should not be missed. More details at scottjamamas.com. Explore the award-winning, spirited Midwestern flavors at 30 Bales in Hopkins. Priding themselves as a scratch kitchen using the cleanest, most local ingredients they can source, join 30 Bales for lunch, dinner, or their scrumptious weekend brunch. Conveniently located at 1106 Main Street in Hopkins with plenty of free parking. See their menu at 30bales.com.
Bet you didn't know that 2,300 people in Minnesota are currently waiting for a life-saving transplant. Check your driver's license to see if you're a registered donor. It's an easy way to help others. One donor can save and heal more than 75 lives. Ready to register and don't know how? Check the box on your ID at the DMV or skip the lines and register online today at life-source.org. That's life-source.org. Sponsored by LifeSource, this station, and the Minnesota Broadcasters Association.
Hi, it's Freddie Bell, host of New Beginnings, heard every Saturday at 11 a.m. right here on AM 950. Each week, I bring you timely information on finances, AARP updates, Minnesota Department of Health information, what's going on around our area, a spiritual message, my words to the wise, history notes, and more. So tune in this Saturday at 11 a.m. for New Beginnings with me, Freddie Bell. I'll see you then.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. Is your home ready for the holidays? Be honest, how does your carpet look and smell right now? Okay, maybe you have a carpet disaster on your hands, but that's why you should call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res. Some people hire a deal of the day carpet cleaner to save a little money, but trust shouldn't come that easily. Don't DIY it. Call Zero Res because you know it's safe and effective. That's why this month you can get room Zero Resified starting at just $149 and take $75 off when you get your air ducts Zero Res clean. Call Zero Res right now, 952-ZERO-RES, or go online to ZeroResMinnesota.com and say you want the AM 950 special. Spell it forward or backward, it's the same. Zero Res. Refresh, restore, and protect your investment. Call Zero Res to clean your business the right way so your floors and surfaces stay cleaner longer without the harmful chemicals the other guys use.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for showers and storms tonight with a low around 61, Wednesday cloudy with a high near 64, and Thursday sunny with a high around 62. Experience the bold flavors of Szechuan and Mandarin cuisine at the Great Wall Restaurant. Indulge in their menu favorites like the hot and sour soup, sesame chicken, and Peking duck. Order for takeout and view the extensive menu at GreatWallyDina.com. Conveniently located just south of 50th and France and Edina. Again, GreatWallyDina.com.
This is Leonard Peltier. I am in Coleman 1, U.S. Penitentiary, and I'm listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by NACD's Four Sisters Farmers Market every Thursday on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis from 11 to 3. Sure you get there this month. It is the last month the market is open this season. I'm really, really going to miss it. So make sure you come out and say hi.
That was two reallys. I believe you, Haley. Hey, before we get to our guests, I just want to give everybody the website for Heather Keeler's business, consulting business. It's twofeathersllc.com. So that's Two Feathers Consulting. Give her a call, have her come in and talk to your group. She's, as you can see when she's on our show, she's a super dynamic personality and speaker. Hey, we have Brook. Brook again. What's happening, Brook? You looks like you got a guest here, and really excited to have you on and talk about what's coming up this weekend again. How you doing, Brook?
Bonjour, Robert. It's good to see you. It's good to be back. Good to see you too, Haley. Yes, I'm here with Derek Topai of the Kiowa tribe. He's coming to join us this weekend. It's already coming up this weekend for Indigenous Peoples Weekend. Woohoo! Our basketball expo.
Definitely, totally excited. Why don't you introduce them? And Brooke, what we've been trying to do here in this last 3 weeks is have you take over my show. So why don't you take it over right now without pay?
Well, you are a sponsor, Mr. Pilot, and so is the show. So we appreciate that greatly. But I will. I'll do a quick one. Derek Topai again, Kiowa tribe. And they are also a sponsor of the event of the basketball expo this weekend. So I will let Derek say as much as he'd like to about introducing himself. We met through the basketball trails, the high school trails. We're both coaches. Surprisingly, our teams have not played each other and matched up yet. But we've been at multiple tournaments for multiple years now together. So I'll let him go from there.
Hello. Good evening. My name is Derek Topai. I represent the Kiowa tribe here in Southwest Oklahoma, Carnegie, Oklahoma. Right now, I'm interim executive director for the Kiowa tribe. And also, like Brook stated, during the summertime, I coach our local teams here in our community, our local youth in our community. And I've been doing that for quite a while now. And like Brook mentioned, we met in the tournaments during the summertime. Got to know her. She told me the Indigenous Peoples Weekend event coming up, asked if I would be interested in participating in it. And I told her that I would. So I'll be coming up this weekend, to take part in that. I'm excited. A lot of people are excited for the event. I know Brook has been paying a lot of effort, time into it. I keep telling her that it's going to be a great event because I know that it will be. I see everything that she's been doing. So that's just a little bit about me. If there's anything else that you might want to ask, I'm open to anything that y'all want to know.
Right on. Well, we're all Derek. We're all on Brooke's coattails here. We're all going to be really successful with what Brook is doing. She's one of those young warriors that I've been watching for a few years. It's really a doer, and it's going to be successful this weekend. You've already had a successful one. Derek, one of the things that I noticed myself as being a former, high school player in baseball and football, but also later in my life, I was a high school teacher, and I had a marching band drum line, and the discipline and the kids owning what they're doing. I was just so impressed with the last tournament on how all the teams seem so polite and professional, and that's a thing that we can give our young ones. And I'm really excited, Derek, and could you respond on that? That's just it's just things that we give our young ones, like that respect and the teachings that are so important too, along with the participating in the sport.
Oh, yes, sir. I agree with you, sir. I'm big on making sure that our youth, for me, sports is one way that helped me and many, youth, like us. It helped me, to get away and cope with things, that were going on. So for me, in my community and surrounding communities, we have a lot of youth that are out there, struggling mentally, things that are going on at home or at school or just with themselves. So I try to do the best that I can to provide, a good atmosphere for them to come in and be in the gym, keep their, time and mind on something positive. And I know, just like what you expressed, sir, being in the school, being an educator, teacher, sometimes our kids, may not have that good treatment in a school. For us here, we have public schools. We have 2 boarding schools here in Oklahoma, Riverside Indian School and Sequoia Indian School. I was blessed to be able to coach at Riverside Indian School for the past 4 years. And so I got to be there with our Indian kids from all over, Indian country. And I just want to make sure that they feel that they can come to me with anything that's on their minds. Trust me, I grow that bond with them so that they can come to me for anything that they want to talk about, express. It's like what you said, a lot of our kids may not have that at home, may not have a mom and dad, live with grandma and grandpa, auntie and uncle. So I just want to have the kids know that they can come to me whenever they need. And also, I want to let the kids know some of the things that are out there in life, what we can learn from sports, from basketball. Like I said earlier, it's taught me a lot in my life. It's made me who I am today. The hard work, the dedication, the passion, that was instilled in me at an age, in school by my coach. I try to do the same for our youth. So it's just building our youth up, giving them the confidence, motivation, letting them know that they can do things, that they can be successful. So yes, sir, I agree with you. It's really big on what we do as educators, mentors, coaches. So that's just a little bit of how I try to operate, with our program, Oklahoma Runners, and also being here with the Kiowa Tribe, representing the Kiowa Tribe at the executive level. And also in my past, I've been a youth director. So even being a mentor to the youth, I have a past. I'm not perfect. So I try to make sure that these kids don't go down the way that I went or anybody that I know, took. So I just try to make sure, that I'm guiding them, the right way and be there for them.
Hey, Brook, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I feel like 30 years of teaching, being a young person, that our students and our children are the same. And I think they want that discipline, and they want to have boundaries and have all those good things. And especially after going through COVID, I think they're yearning more of a direction.
Yeah, I think so too. And I'm a Montessori educator as well. So, we believe in sequences, and we believe in order, and, allowing our children to have order around them, so that there's order inside of them, right? Because if you put them in chaos, like COVID kind of was very chaotic for even us as adults, right? we were navigating how to wash our hands again, learning how to do those things again. So when we provide a sense of order and structure, routine for our kids, that gives them order inside, right? It doesn't make things chaotic. So I think, that's why school is good, right? I set expectations for my kids, right? Is we play school ball during the school year because then we keep our grades up. We got to have our grades to play school ball, right? And then, there's those other components of wanting to go to their next team for college. So all of those things are important, right? And they develop us as youth, but also as leaders. They develop us as adults and into the work world that we go into and all the other things we'll need in life. So
Right on. And Derek, I think one of the things that you said that I want to jump on too, because for me, as being a high school teacher, people that knew me when I was, let's just say, younger and a little rambunctious, that's a good way to put it, that would have been the last place for me to be. But you were talking about yourself having a little history too. But I think that's good to have our own history so we can help and know where kids are coming from. We're not the goody two shoes that maybe come off the streets and try and tell people that we know what they're going through. When Derek, you've gone through a lot too, it sounds like.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I agree with you. I just want to be there and educate the youth, of the mistakes that I made in the past, choices that I made, I'm not going to lie, drugs and alcohol, affected me in school. It made me make decisions and choices that, I wish that I could take back and redo. So now, I want to be able to help our youth, to let them know, things that if they ever face, something that I came across or what I did, I wish that I had somebody like that telling me when I was that age. I really didn't have that many for me, to be around and encourage me to go a different route or make good choices. So I just want to be that, for our youth here, make sure they're making the right choices. And like you said, sir, from my experiences in the past, to help guide them down the right way.
Hey, Brooke, we got like a minute left in the segment. Can you remind everyone, and I want to remind you too, Brooke, that we have a big listening audience in Wisconsin too, and you can tell them how close Harding is from Wisconsin border. Give the event out again for everyone to listen, to hear.
yes, we will be Indigenous Peoples Weekend Basketball Expo at Harding High School. That's in St. Paul, Minnesota. I'll come back with the exact address. East side St. Paul, Minnesota is about 30 minutes or less from the Wisconsin border. And we'll be there Saturday and Sunday, October 7th and 8th this weekend from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. each day.
It's 1540 East 6th Street in St. Paul, and I know that because I had to go there every day for 30 years. So
That was your high school. Yep.
yeah. Well, I'm a Central boy, Brooke. I went.
Oh.
Sorry,
Your
but
teaching
yeah.
high school. Sorry, your teacher high school. There you go.
Hey, we're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. We're going to be back and talk some more positive things. This has been a total positive show as usual. And Brooke, what a great guest you have. We'll be right back with Derek and Brooke and Haley, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
Which would be cool for people.
Back to school season is here. And while this is an exciting time for parents, kids, and educators, let's not forget how far we've come in our battle against COVID-19. We're in a better place, but COVID-19 is still here, and we need to continue to help protect our communities. With the flurry of new schedules and classrooms, let's not overlook the fundamentals of staying safe. Wash your hands regularly and watch for any symptoms like fever, chills, a cough, or shortness of breath. Should you or someone you know have COVID-19 symptoms, stay home and get tested. Find more tips on continuing to be safe at health.state.mn.us. Let's have this back-to-school season be a time of renewed commitment to our collective health and brighter future for our Native communities. Again, find more tips on continuing to be safe at health.state.mn.us.
This message is brought to you in partnership with the Minnesota Department of Health. In recognition of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, this message is brought to you by Strong Hearts Native Helpline, a culturally appropriate domestic and sexual violence helpline for Native American and Alaska Natives. Advocates provide free support and advocacy 24/7. Call or text 1-844-762-8483, that's 1-844-7-NATIVE, or chat online at strongheartshelpline.org. Safe, anonymous, confidential, 24/7. In recognition of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, this message is brought to you by Strong Hearts Native Helpline, a culturally appropriate domestic and sexual violence helpline for Native American and Alaska Natives. Advocates provide free support and advocacy 24/7. Call or text 1-844-762-8483, that's 1-844-7-NATIVE, or chat online at strongheartshelpline.org. Safe, anonymous, confidential, 24/7.
With this last sponsor.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Howling Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
Hey, all right. Brooke, I heard you. That's awesome. Hey, we love Howling for Wolves, and we love our relatives of wolves. Please, everyone, be aware that we don't ever want our wolves delisted. We don't want to have a blood bath with our relatives with hoofs and tails. It's very important to us here. And always remember too, if you are in Minnesota, our Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan is with the Wolf Clan, and so that is really their relatives. So, hey, we're here with Brooke and Derek, just talking it up. I'm excited. I wish I didn't have a bad knee, and I have a lot of excuses. An old 62-year-old body here, but I used to be able to touch the rim, and now those days are gone.
Yeah, one day, Mr. Pilot, we'll have a golden age bracket, just for you guys.
60
legends.
Yeah,
legends. Yes.
Awesome. So, Brooke, I want to quickly ask you, because this is like our shortest segment's about 9 minutes here, and I wanted to ask you, what made you come up with this idea? And I know you've been coaching young people for a long time, but this tournament, what made you come up with this?
Yeah, it was really our boys' idea. The Niniijaanis MMIW boys, they were in their second season last summer, and we actually got a small micro grant from the Science Museum of Minnesota to host something. And we we've been to quite a few tournaments. We hadn't hosted anything at that point, but we've been to different 3-on-3s. They've been to a lot of 5-on-5s. We run the Native High School Attorney Trails. And they wanted to host a 3-on-3 at their high school. So Harding High School is the American Indian Magnet program of St. Paul. So a large percentage of our Native students are at Harding, and that's where all of the boys were at the time. So we held the 3-on-3 there, brought a lot of their bros in from around the state. Half of our team is from the Turtle Mountains. That's where I'm from. Turtle Mountains in North Dakota. Some of our families from there. Came from there to join us, and so it was just a good way to we wanted to use the sport as a way to bring healing to our communities, to further raise awareness around missing and murdered Indigenous women around that endemic, and to kind of make it more like a public health expo for everybody. There was a high school 3-on-3, adult 3-on-3. There was a youth skills camp, so there was something for everybody, and we want to keep it that way.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I just want to say that I missed you at Harding when you were in high school. I just want to throw that out there again. Hey, Derek, we talk a lot about community, and what better way to build community, one dribble at a time, one basketball at a time. It's not always just about the game, but it's about building community.
Yes, sir. I agree with you again, on that. It's all about the community, getting the community involved, getting not only our Native youth involved, but all youth. We want to make sure that for me, I'm including all youth in our communities because we all live together. We all, have to, go to school together, go to church together, go to places together, so we all need to be, intertwined together, Native and non. So I try to make sure that we do a lot with the community, engaging the community, and with our basketball organization that I coach, Oklahoma Runners, we're one of the top all-Indian AAU team here in Oklahoma. We have teams all the way from fourth grade all the way up to high school, boys. We have some young girls that we're starting out also. So we're trying to engage not only from our area, but the state of Oklahoma, for all of our Indian kids, our Native kids, boys and girls. So
how many tribes are in Oklahoma?
39 tribes here in Oklahoma,
Whoa.
state of Oklahoma, 39 tribes represented here in Oklahoma. So for me, like I said, we try to reach all athletes here in the state. And real quick, Oklahoma Runners was started by Lindy Waters Jr., which is the dad of Lindy Waters, the third Trey that plays for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's Kiowa Cherokee. Mr. Waters started Oklahoma Runners when Trey was in elementary, along with Trey Young, that plays for Atlanta Hawks and some other Oklahoma basketball players. And that's where they started at, Oklahoma Runners. And then maybe a couple years back, we approached Mr. Waters about carrying that name, myself and my other coach, Mr. Richie Island, Sean Arapaho. Went to him and asked if we could utilize the name Oklahoma Runners. So we've been using the Runners for the past couple of years now, making a name, going to different tournaments. We've been to NABI numerous times. This past year, we went to NABI, got runner-up, got beat in the finals. 3 years ago, we went to NABI, same kind of thing. We got beat in the finals, but we made it there. So our group is, really for our community and our Native athletes. And so I just want to, really express that our organization is tied to Trey, and he's one of, our big sponsors on what we do and for our youth and for our kids.
Hey, Brooke, we were at a St. Paul event yesterday. Bobby Wilson was in town, and Barry Hand, and Barry introduced him and gave him a blanket. And one of the things that he mentioned that I forgot is when I was young, so I'm 60s, people that were in our 60s and 70 years old, there was Native softball teams, they were Native tournaments, so it sounds like you're bringing this back, which is really good and really builds community and makes people proud to come from where they come from. So again, here's another thing I'd got to applaud you for is bringing that back, that community in sports that in St. Paul specifically, we've been missing for a few years.
Yeah, I think the pandemic and COVID in general shut down quite a few sports tourneys, and some of them made a comeback and some of them really haven't yet. The Ho-Chunks used to host the biggest one, March Madness. And they just brought theirs back. So it's good to have something in Minnesota. I know since I've been traveling the tourney trails with my high school kids, we got to leave Minnesota to go to most tournaments. Red Lake is the only tribal nation in Minnesota that hosts. So it's good to have something in the cities. And I wish I could host everywhere at every tribe in Minnesota, and that we could have a wicked tourney trail here in our state. That'll be for the future. But I'm glad to start in our home backyard in East St. Paul. So
yeah. It is a start, and a really great start, and something to look forward to, and to bring back our local players to get them involved again, like you are right now. And I just want you to give again, the address is 1540 East 6th Street in St. Paul, and give the times and the days real quick. We're ending the show right now.
Yep, both days, October 7th and October 8th. Saturday and Sunday, we'll be going from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. all day. There's going to be food trucks, vendors, basketball games going on all day. Real cool stuff. So come on over. It's all free, open to the public. We're just trying to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day with everyone. So we'd love to see you there.
Awesome. Hey, Derek, thanks for stopping in. Brooke, always a pleasure. We'll be seeing you guys this weekend, and thanks for coming on.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pilot. Thank you, Haley.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon. Hey, if you're listening to this show, you're part of the resistance from Chief Plentycoops. The ground on which we stand on is sacred ground. It's the blood of our ancestors. We need to resist, divest, join a group, run for office, vote, and go to this basketball tournament. We're still here. We are the seventh generation.
And free Leonard Peltier. Now.